Morning, all. All right, so welcome to Free Agent Frenzy Day. Some names are off the board already, and some guys have been re-signed, and we'll start with Evander Kane in the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers getting it done. They signed him to a 4-year extension at $5.125 million as the cap hit. So Kane will be sticking around in Edmonton for 4 more years. And it makes sense for the team and it makes sense for the player. Kane had to find a place to bounce back, and what better place to bounce back than on the wing of guys like McDavid and Draisaitl? So that's a fantastic place for him to be. And so it works, and we'll see how things go for him from here. And they're the likely landing spot for Jack Campbell, being reported by Bob McKenzie, who is ruining things for people because he's retired. He doesn't care anymore. And you've got Kevin Weeks reporting that Campbell's agreed to a 5-year, $5.5 million extension, which is odd since the negotiating period that became kind of an issue with the free agency. I want to say 3 years ago, because we knew where everybody was going before free agent day arrived. So it was just, so they're all there, and there wasn't the excitement. So the NHL took away the negotiating period before free agency. So if Campbell's agreed to the number, maybe they just, so would you like 5.5? Okay, 5.5. Anyways, so Campbell's going to be headed to Edmonton. We'll all act surprised when that's announced at 9 o'clock Pacific, noon Eastern. Also, Dennis Hildeby, and this is an interesting story to me. Normally I report on entry-level contracts being signed by first rounders, because otherwise you're reporting on a lot of them. But the Toronto Maple Leafs have signed him. Now, he's one of the older goaltenders. He was an overager going in. He was the number one ranked goaltending prospect by Hockey Prospect going into the draft. This could end up being a low-key really good move for Toronto, who are being criticized for moves with their goaltending right now. So for Dubas, this may end up being a win. Obviously, Hildeby is not projected to be an NHL-ready goaltender right now. But the good news is they can put him with the Marlies, and he could come along quickly. Again, we'll see how things go. Toronto's goaltending might be something to watch today. Are they going to be happy with Murray and Källgren? Odds are probably not. But I haven't seen a goaltender yet on the board for them, but it'll probably happen. I'd be very surprised if it was Murray and Källgren that were the goaltending tandem in Toronto. But Hildeby, honestly, good pickup, and they get him in the draft, not an early round, so no real risk, and now he's in the entry-level contract, and yeah, things look good. Cam Talbot was traded, according to Bill Guerin, to avoid some awkwardness. And honestly, this makes a lot of sense. The player wanted to go, and so the team accommodates. I always think that's the best move. I think telling a guy we're not going to trade you. I understand why GMs do it at times. I do think, though, that that's not a great message to send. Probably not great for the guys in the locker room either. To see, well, if I don't want to be here, the GM may tell me, too bad, you're stuck here, whatever. So, yeah, Talbot moves on to Ottawa, who apparently are going to be busy today as well. So, for Sens fans, the excitement is going to continue to rise for you. Also, speaking of goaltenders, as goaltenders have been the on vogue conversation over the last couple of weeks, Malcolm Subban has signed a 1-year, 2-way contract with Buffalo. So Buffalo, some depth in goal. Subban didn't play a ton for Buffalo after being picked up by them. So we'll see how things go, how many games he gets into this coming season. But yeah, so for Buffalo, maintaining their depth in net, which is important. Helm is going to be staying with Colorado. 1-year deal at $1.25 million. So while Colorado is losing some players, although word has it that Kadri has been in contact with them the whole way through, they're still having conversations even though free agency starts in like a little over an hour. Helm signing and Nichushkin signing, all of this has to have Kadri wanting to come back. And I'd be kind of surprised if Kadri ends up elsewhere. It is free agency. There's always surprises. But Colorado has to want to get the band back together next year to try to win back-to-back. Do the same thing that Tampa Bay did in 2020 and 2021. So we'll see what happens there. But Helm is not going anywhere. He is staying where he is in Colorado. The Philadelphia Flyers want to sign Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau is open to signing there. He wants to be closer to home, is what the word is. So while there's all this discussion about how greedy Johnny is, now he's stabbed everybody in the back. I've already seen the comments. I find it insane. I find it insane that a player can spend almost a decade of his life giving everything he has to a team, and then he earns the right to become a free agent. He earns the right to decide whether to stay or not, and immediately the fan base, if he chooses to leave, labels him a traitor and a horrible person, and they'll boo him when he's on the ice, and they just hate him, and it's like, I don't understand. They earned the right to go elsewhere. That's what the whole UFA market is for. And if Johnny Gaudreau wants to play in the U.S. as an American-born player, I don't think that's a big deal. But Gaudreau, if he ends up in Philly, well, they're going to have to clear some cap. So what they're trying to do is move JVR's contract. Teams, knowing what they're doing, will likely want a first-round draft pick. That is likely going to be what they want as the sweetener. You're not going to just tell Philly, oh, you guys need to sign Gaudreau. Yeah, we'll take JVR's contract. Don't you worry about it. We'll take that. We want to make sure you guys get Gaudreau. Because then you're kind of involved in a Gaudreau transaction, and you'd like to get a little bit more out of it than just JVR's contract and fourth or third. So I think it's going to be a steep price they have to pay if they're able to get that contract gone for Gaudreau. But he is likely to sign with one of the Metro teams. And Bob McKenzie, as I said, he's Bobby Margarita now. Darcy Kemper will be signing with the Washington Capitals, according to Bob. Andrew Kopp is going to Detroit. And so I love that move for Detroit. I think that is a really smart move for Steve Yzerman, and I'm sorry that I'm repeating myself in praise of Steve Yzerman, but the moves he makes, they all make a lot of sense. So he picks up Husso. That means you've got your number one, number two goaltender, or 1A, 1B, however you want to look at it. And now you've added Kopp, a two-way forward who can do a little bit of everything. He can play up and down your lineup. He can score goals if he needs to. He's good shorthanded. There really isn't anything Kopp can't do. And so I like Detroit's future. Also, the Ottawa Senators, they're the front runners to land Giroux. Pierre LeBrun saying they're the front runners. Bobby Margarita saying they've got him. So Claude Giroux going to Ottawa that'd be huge news, honestly. Now, Giroux is not the same player he was, say, 5 or 6 years ago, but he is still a player who can go out there and produce 60 points. He is still a leader. He is still a good player, and a ton of experience in the NHL, which Ottawa needs. So what that automatically does is it raises the level of expectation for the Sens. This is going to be the first year the Senators have dealt with any kind of expectation since, I'll say, 2016, 2017. Right? And even then, 2016, 2017, well, they went on that run in almost to the final in 2017, which led to unrealistic expectations going forward. But that didn't feel nearly as exciting as what's going on in Ottawa right now. It feels like they've been kind of dead and buried for 5 years, and now they're back, and they're ready to go. And so adding Claude Giroux could be huge for this team. He can play in the middle. He can play on the wing. Again, he showed in Florida. He's fine with playing a bit of a support role if he has to. I am surprised Giroux's not going back to Florida. But remember, Giroux wants to win. He's going to Ottawa. So that's telling you that there are veterans in this league that feel like going to Ottawa right now might be a good chance to win themselves some games. So the Sens trying to get back into the playoff picture and adding Giroux, adding Talbot and net. It's not about winning the cup, because I saw people yesterday, oh, you won't win a cup with Talbot. That's not what this is about. The Sens have to get to respectability first, get to respectability, get into the hunt for the playoffs, and then we can talk about them building themselves to being a contender a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. But they have to get from here to there, and adding Giroux, adding Talbot and net could be huge. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.